Now, the second story is fairly short, but it's a story that's based on second principle. In this story, I need only, well, no, I need Maui, I need a Hina, a woman, and I need two people to be a mountain. Actually, they'll start off being the sky. I need two people to be the sky. Okay, so let me have a Maui up here. Okay, thank you. I need Hina, please, thank you. I need two people to be the sky. Good. Hina, you get over here with on Maui's side. Oh, good. All right. So, the two of you who are going to be the sky, one of you stand, let's see, that's a good example, right there, little angle, this way, me this way, there, yeah, right, good. And you this way, I want you to reach your hands out and hold them like that together. Okay, this is actually the sky. Now, feel free in the back to stand up if you want to see details, because this is the only one where they're going to have to crawl on the floor. So, get down on your hands and knees, please. Okay? Yes, please. Okay. Now, this was a time, very, very long time ago, when human beings crawled around on their hands and knees. And the reason they did so was because the sky was so low. Okay? And it was a real problem, because as they'd crawl around, they'd bump into each other. Bump. Or they didn't, you know, just, or they'd bump into a tree. That's a tree. See? And they might bump into a rock. Bump into the rock. No, it's a rock. Okay, all right, good. Now, so it was a terrible time, and Maui finally got fed up with it, but he didn't know what to do. So one time he bumps into this woman that he can't see and doesn't know. Bump into her. And that felt like a nice bump. And so they started talking. And he says, how do you feel about this sky being so low? And she says, well, I'll tell you what. I think you ought to lift it up. And Maui never thought of that before. And he said, well, why should I do that? And she gave him a traditional Hawaiian answer, which was, I'll give you a drink from my gourd if you do that. You know what a gourd is? Okay, a gourd is like we have in that case back over there. It's a natural plant, like a squash, only it comes out very, very hard. And it's used sometimes to carry water in or liquids or things like that. Many places in tropical countries in the world, they use these. Okay. However, because of its shape, and Hawaiians love word jokes, why it has some other meanings too. So she offered Maui a drink from her gourd if he would push up the sky. And Maui thought that was a really good idea. Okay? So Maui goes over and finds the place where the sky is really low, and he starts to push it up. It's not easy, but he's a hero. And he pushes, 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 and he gives a final shove, and the sky goes all the way up to where it is today. And so Maui goes over and picks up Hina, and they go off, and she gives him a drink of her gourd, and that was the beginning of a lot of interesting things. And here's the best part. We know the story is true because the sky's way up there. Okay? Thank you very much. Okay. The second principle says that there are no limits. Okay? And this is a good thing to remember, that essentially there are no limits. But in order to have experiences, we place limits on things. Some of those limits are very useful, like gravity keeps us from flying off into space, but some of those limits are completely unnecessary and really diminish our experience. So this whole concept and story is used to teach you that, see, Maui never thought of pushing up the sky. He would have gone on the rest of his life, crawling on his hands and knees, bumping into things, until he was inspired. And who was he inspired by? Hina, who is the second most famous character in all of Polynesia. And again, a very, very old character. And Hina is known mostly originally as both a goddess of the ocean and the land and the moon and the heavens, but in later times she became associated with the moon and with tapa cloth making and with the ocean. And she was a healer and had many other qualities. But for our story purposes, the most interesting thing is, in almost every story, it's Hina who teaches Maui. So she's the oldest, even an older, and often his mother. So she's an older shamanic figure even than Maui is. Yes?
Well, that was my question. The stories that I had known of, she was his mother, and yet she's taking...
Oh no, Maui, I mean Hina, depending on the story, Hina can be Maui's sister, his mother, his cousin, his daughter. She changes place according to the story. Okay, that's very common. All right, so that's the idea that there are no limits.